remember all those years ago when we would be given specific book projects where not only did we had to read the book, we had to take quizzes on the book, and then if we were good enough, we would watch a movie about the book. But in this instinct right here, for me, I've always had a common tale where if I'm going to read the book, I'm going to read the book for its own merits. If I'm watching a movie, I'm watching a movie for its own thing, separating the art from the artist. But it's also a common tale in the world of film where you take an adaptation of a well-known story and you turn it into a movie, which is obvious because it is done from the past, present, and obviously in the future. Stephen King being one of the most influential authors out there that everyone seems to like making movies off of, and then again, some of those movies are instant classics. This is one of those stories to where it is a instant classic and one of the best children's books out there that is critically acclaimed by anybody, and I believe it did win that little golden award that was put onto a lot of books, whether it was a picture book or chapter one like this, or whatever the case may be. But let's talk about the movie. Okay, so Charlotte's Web. This particular film alone, directed by Iwao Takamoto and Charles Augustus Nichols. Now, anybody who is familiar with these particular directors, now Charles Augustus Nichols, I'm familiar with some of his stuff because he has done drawings for Figaro the Cat, Mickey, Minnie, and Pluto, and has done some short little cartoons for those classic Walt Disney characters. But for this movie alone, this is not like one of those common Disney films. Sure, it has the animation style of a Disney film, but not necessarily, because the guy who did this particular one, who did the hand drawings for it, is exceptional and fantastic, obviously, for the animation like this in 1973. Really good stuff. Now, as for the movie itself, this ain't no Don Bluth, it ain't no Ralph Bakshi. It is a simple children's film that is just really good. Now, this film does kind of have some sort of adult meaning to it, but not necessarily, which I will get to. Because the thing is that the adult thing that I get from this film is a lot of relation to the words that describe the pig himself. Now, Wilbur is a young, healthy pig who is trying to get through his days and not wanting to end up on somebody's plate. But which is what's trying to be avoided. Now, Wilbur, when he was a small little piglet, he was given to the young girl named Fern, who is befriends with a kid named Henry. Obviously, they grow fond of the pig, they like the pig, and they keep him in his little barn and whatnot. We see Wilbur's daily life where he is interacting with his friends such as the goose, the rat, and of course, Charlotte herself. Now, I'm going to stop right there. The rat was my favorite character in the whole fucking film because I saw myself a lot. Because he is such a smart ass. He is so sneaky. He is so stinky. Well, that's not really me. I'm not really much stinky because I do bathe myself. But anyways, he's such a smart ass. He's got a fucking witty personality. And he's just a fucking dickhead. Which is what I love a lot. I love those type of characters where they kind of represent their personality. And then we have the goose, who she is so motherly-like. She's so heartwarming. She warms up to Wilbur a lot. And all the supporting characters that you see throughout this film is so hard. You get their personalities based off what animal they are. And it's really great. But continuing on about the story itself, you learn about the spider's life as well, of how she lives and how spiders are very, well, overlooked, especially with specific ones like Daddy Longlegs and certain other breeds where they look scary, but they're a lot more afraid of humans than we are of them. But it shows the daily life of how a spider gets through making their web, eating, and whatnot, and obviously their time spanned. But Charlotte develops a friendship with Wilbur where Wilbur's trying to understand his personality and his perspective in trying to express to the humans of what kind of pig he really is. So thanks to Charlotte, she ends up creating 4 words that not only represent Wilbur as who he is as a pig, but also the personality that he possesses. The famous words are some pig, terrific, radiant, and humble. Now, I managed to understand exactly what all 4 mean, because the thing is that each characteristic that Wilbur possesses from all 4 of these words, it not only goes into the chapters of the film itself, but also describes the time frame where as Wilbur is getting older in his personality and he's maturing as well. But he's some pig, it's his worth. He is terrific, it's his qualities. He is radiant, it's his happiness. And then he is humble, which is his character and his personality, which literally summarizes everything of who Wilbur is as a pig. These 4 words literally captivate the entire storytelling of Wilbur's personality, of how he interacts of not only with the barn animals, but also his interaction with the humans alone. It's a beautiful little story. It is a beautiful story. Every time you see Charlotte creating the magic, also there's a couple songs in this film that's really nice as well that creates the mood. But the thing is that sure you see it's mostly about the main character being Wilbur, but my perspective was on Charlotte. Because the thing is that with Charlotte though, with her personality and her characteristics, and you learn more about her particular story and her lifespan that she has within the eggs that she is delivered with her children, her grandchildren, etc., that Wilbur obviously takes care of and looks after thanks to the promise that he made. You see how someone like Charlotte is able to create such webs like this and just have just beautiful creativity and beautiful work, where you clearly see that sure Charlotte, she might have not taken much credit for creating the webs, because the traction was obviously Wilbur. Because then again, sometimes when a mother pigs give birth, there ends up being, and it's like this with any animal, there ends up being a runt in the family, which is like smaller than most of the other ones. I can say that about my raccoons, that there ended up being a runt in a litter in the litter of raccoons that I've taken care of. But in this instinct right here, it's common where there's an animal. But the thing is that, sure, that particular word may not necessarily be the proper characteristic to describe them. But once you see that animal getting older and develop its personality, you really grow a close connection and an understanding. Now, for me watching this movie, now all of the 4 words I would describe some pig, for anybody who likes to call me fat out there, not necessarily the right thing for me, but some individual or terrific, radiant, and humble. I try and understand and also reflect and watch this movie again. I try and reflect on those 4 words, especially where how it's relatable to someone like Wilbur, trying to get across and show everybody the personality that you possess, and you have those characteristics of your qualities, your worth, your happiness that you want to have, your personality and character. All it needs is just one little word to really describe a human being or an animal. For this instinct for Wilbur, it just took one particular word, and literally it just defines the chapters of the entire movie itself, of not only of the development of the words, but also the friendship that he's grown closer with everybody, his connection that he had with Charlotte that he loved and deeply sympathized, and just grew an absolute love and a connection for so damn much. And it's so beautiful, really, really beautiful. But the movie itself, sure, you see Fern, you see Harry, and how they're able to have themselves a nice little connection, the friendship that they have. Obviously, seeing Wilbur's worth and everything, etc. But also the fact that Fern herself, she's got a nice little personality. She's a sweetheart, and she is really, really, really well spoken for herself as a young kid. So, characteristics like that in personality and everything goes a long way for a film like this, where it's got so much love. You got personal connections and relations with it. The animation itself is so beautiful. It's a really nice little story. You get emotional, especially with Charlotte alone and her story and the relations with that. The real life elements as an adult that you get and can connect with. But then again, even as a child, you learn from a lot of things too. And that's what's great about this movie, is that it captivates everything for both children and adults alike. And this film itself kind of makes you bring a little closer to characteristics and building on your personality, finding how terrific you are, how radiant you are, how humble you are, and what kind of some individual that you can really be. But folks, with that being said, Charlotte's Web it's a beautiful little movie. I mean, I enjoy watching it. It's really, really good. I give it a 3.75 out of 5. It's a nice little film. I enjoy watching it. It's one of the best. I wouldn't say it's one of the nice little animated films. It's one of the most classic, heartfelt books out there. The movie itself, as its own thing, is really, really good. Stands out as itself and really grows the personality that you can relate to, enjoy with, and obviously have a nice little time with. You can laugh, you can cry, you can have a smile on your face. There's always going to be a nice little ending at any sort of animated film, no matter how you look at it. So, folks, that's going to do it for my little talk on Charlotte's Web Free Wall. It's a nice little film. I enjoy it. and definitely one of those stories that I would definitely read and or watch separately on its own thing. So, folks, that being said, let me know down below your thoughts of Charlotte's Web, and ciao for now.